Well, we're Tin Man Games, and you probably know us from our Gamebook Adventures series and our Fighting Fantasy license, which became available to us a couple of years ago through Gamebook Adventures. So up until now, all our games have been primarily book-based, so lots of text and dice bouncing around the screen, which is great, and we have some fans that love that stuff, and we'll be continuing to do that. But with A Point with Fear, which is one of the fighting fantasy books written by Steve Jackson, which was released about 30 years ago, it's actually based in a comic book world in a city called Titan City, where you play a superhero. So we thought, hey, why don't we do something a little bit different with A Point with Fear, and we'll actually, instead of having an interactive game book, we'll have an interactive comic game book. So it's an interactive comic experience, so we have lots of panels with imagery and text flying in. So unlike before where we'd have pages of text, we now have these panels of text. Also, we've removed lots of things from our existing game books. So dice is gone, and many of the booky features like bookmarks and large areas of text have gone. So everything's a lot more punchier, it's quicker to get into. And so, for example, here with the character creation, we've got two choices, I'm a boy, I'm a girl. So let's choose to be a boy. Gives you a little bit of background there. And we're choosing what superpower we'd like to have. So I think here what we'll do is we'll be a gadgety superhero, a bit like Batman. And we get to choose, no, he's not quite right. No, not quite right. Oh yeah, I like him, he looks cool. So, and then we're choosing colours. It's very, very quick and simple. So we're going to choose his outfit. He looks kind of cool. And then every good superhero needs a good superhero name. We have an auto name generator. So this comes up with some really interesting...
I think triple chicken.
Triple chicken looks amazing. Let's get started, triple chicken. So this game book relies basically on just tapping the screen. So every time you see a panel is when I'm just tapping the screen. And as you'll notice, one of the first things that's different to our other game books is that a lot of the narrative actually comes through dialogue, because comic books are very dialogue-based. All the plot in a comic book all comes from dialogue, so we wanted to do that as well. So this is just a bit of introductory stuff. We've got an achievement there because I've prepared some porridge with a laser-powered device, which is kind of cool. And I think that gives you an element of the humour in the game. Its tongue's very placed firmly in its cheek. It knows what it is. It's a superhero comic book. It doesn't go as camp as, say, a 60s Batman TV show would have gone camp, but it's nowhere near as serious as like the latest Batman films.
So what sort of era are you kind of drawing on most?
So, well, the game book was written in the 80s, and we've actually set the game book still back in 1985. Okay. So there's a lot of reference in there to 80s stuff. So there's one point where there's a little boy with a Walkman, and you borrow it to listen to a cassette tape that you find. So there's lots of stuff like that, which might go over the heads of some of the younger readers, but for the 30 to 40 something audience, I think they'll get quite a lot out of it. So, and in this game you have a crime watch, and one of the major features of the game is hearing about crimes and going to solve them, and you meet lots of supervillains. And you have various instances in the game where you get to solve various things. This is very early in the game, so there's not much to solve, but we'll click solve anyway. And there's nothing there to solve. But usually you'd have loads of clues as you go through the game that will build up, and you'll be able to solve certain information. And you'll get to meet lots of bad guys, and you get to fight these bad guys. So the story sort of builds along just like a comic book would. This has given us a bit of background and information to some of the stuff that's happening in Titan City. And every time you play the game, you'll get different backgrounds, so each playthrough will be very different, depending on how you do things. Now, this is where I hope that it kind of works. We have a bit of an issue. Here we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take us through to some checkpoints, because we can check stuff out really quickly. So, for example, I want to sort of show you an example of the the way the combat's done in this game. So we're about to meet Daddy Rich. He's an underworld crime boss, and he's been up to no good. We found out that he's murdered somebody recently, so we've gone to apprehend him. So here he is with his bodyguards. There's a little bit of dialogue between you and Daddy Rich and his bodyguards. You'll notice there we've got some hero points. You gain and lose hero points throughout the book, and we're actually going to have a leaderboard. So if you're a good hero, you obviously get points. If you're a bad hero, you lose points. And so we've got a little bit of dialogue there between all the various characters. And I'm actually going to move in and try and get Daddy Rich. So here we go. So even our combat, we've got rid of the dice. We've kept everything very punchy, very quick. So combat's very bespoke to your hero and his powers. We have an easy, medium, and difficult. So obviously, easy, you're going to have a better chance to hit. Difficult's going to have a harder chance to hit, but you get more damage done if you obviously go for a difficult. So let's go for an easy here. And whoosh, bosh. So we've gone for that kind of real comic booky, word, thwack, for, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of really lending itself to, the whole medium. Great.
Bodyguard is nonplussed.
Yes. Oh, we've got lots of whooshes. There are some other things as well as whooshes.
Okay. Can you confirm snicked?
There's Kathunk there.
Okay, Kathunk.
Yeah.
Is in there, exclusive there.
Oh, there's another whoosh. Typical. So that's kind of how the game kind of works. And the whole thing is about finding clues and solving those clues at key parts in the story. And the aim of the game is to find the appointment with F.E.A.R. F.E.A.R. being the Federation of the European American Rebels, which are a group of bad guys that are meeting to destroy the world in typical superhero storyline fashion. And you have to find a meeting and stop them in their tracks.
Fantastic. So, when is this out?
So it's going to be out hopefully around August time. We've got a few things to add in there. One of them is we're hoping to add in a trading card mechanic, which will be kind of fun. And so, yeah, assuming we fit all that in, it should be August.
This is Peter with AppSpy.com. We review, you decide.